Alright, look, we're back on gaming. I have to say this right now before I get started. Y'all have to understand that at this point, I am so tired of seeing ignorance be rewarded. I am. And I mean that within our community, within the industry, whether it's YouTube or forums. I just don't understand how it's being rewarded. And once again this week, I'm going to have to show you that as well. As a community, I don't understand how we have not learned from these things to move forward. And the examples I will give you will show you that as well. But before I get started on that and Gamergate and showing all these examples and companies, I want to address the elephant in the room first. And that is from last week with Joystiq. Because a lot of people, I'm actually pretty happy to see a lot of people agree with me what was going on with Joystiq. And a lot of you had said, well, you shouldn't have attacked her for what she did. She was trying to open up conversation. Let's get something straight here, okay? The conversation has always been there. Like I said, for years we talked about this. It's always been open. They chose to ignore us. And then when, at their given time, then they want to talk about it after saying that we don't exist. I'm not trying to hear that, they were just trying to open up conversation. They were trying to open up a dialogue. No, we've had this dialogue for years, okay? So I'm not trying to hear that. It shouldn't take her to come out and say something, especially when she said she already knew about it. So I don't want to hear it, okay? Now, I will talk about Joystiq due to the fact that what's going on as of late, for those who do not know, okay? AOL is rumored, it doesn't even seem like a rumor anymore, it seems like it's going to be a fact. They're going to shut down Joystiq in a content cleanup. That's right. Now, of course, fans of Joystiq are getting all upset and saying on Twitter, oh, hashtag save Joystiq, hashtag, are you serious? So you think that if you hashtag save Joystiq, that's enough to save Joystiq? Let them burn. After what happened last week, let them burn. I do not care. You cannot keep sitting here and abiding and with what we've seen in the previous, 6 months? With Gamergate in general, and for me, for the previous 5 years, damn near, in gaming in general, it's ridiculous. And this is something that, like I said, let it burn. It's the only way they're going to learn. If anything comes out of this, and they get shut down, if anything, I would say, watch where certain writers go to see where they'll get picked up at. Because if they get hired at another site or something for writing the same trash, then it goes to tell you what type of people that, that they have in their pocket. You really, at this point, you really have to see who's buddy-buddy with who at that point, okay? Now, I do want to move on. Like I said, let it burn. I do not care about a hashtag. I really don't. I told y'all before. This has been going on way before even Gamergate itself had a hashtag. I don't want to hear it, okay? Now, I do want to move on to Ubisoft. That's right, because for those who don't know, they've been, as we've seen in the past, I've shown you in the video, they're very anti-Gamergate, okay? They're very anti-consumer, as we know as well. But for what was said about Gamergate is absolutely ridiculous. For those who don't know, Ubisoft's creative director, Pale Hofstein, says that Gamergate is irrelevant. Yeah, this is going to be real easy today, as you can see with that, just that one, that one string of tweets, alright? First off, let me say now, if you're posting on FemFreak, that tells me enough. Alright, that tells me enough. But let's keep going, okay? And I want to make sure I get this right, because I want by numbers, since they want to throw out numbers at us, alright? It says Gamergate needs to understand their own economic relevance. All of GG would not add up to 1% in the gaming buying market, not even close. Let's start right there. First off, if you want to throw out numbers, how do you know that Gamergate is only 1% of the market? Do you have any statistical data that says that these people are specific Gamergate and that they only make up 1%? And you're going to scoff at 1%. You do realize that when Gamergate, the hashtag, was born, and if you've seen what's been going on the previous 6 months, you do realize that a lot of sites have changed their ethics and journalism, their practices, right? You do know that. Because that's what it's about. It's not about boycotting games all the time. So for you to sit here and try to bring up numbers and say that we're only 1%, I want to see hard figures and statistical data that says Gamergate only makes up 1%. Okay? I want to see that. Now, for the next one, it says 9 million PC games were bought worldwide last year. All right? I'm sorry, 900 million. 900 million, all right? It says, how many of those were Gamergate? If they were 1%, that would make them 9 million. Nope. So you're going to scoff if the statistics are true, okay? If the statistics are true and that you only say that Gamergate only makes up 9 million in sales. 9 million. You're going to scoff at 9 million, huh? That's what you do. You really want to hang your hat on that, huh? Ubisoft, this is what your creative director is saying. It goes to show you just how pathetic you really are. But there's more. Let's keep going, okay? Okay, so that's PC games. Where's your numbers on your mobile? Where's your numbers on your console? I still want to see hard numbers on where you get this 1% from. I still want to know that. I need to see statistical data, okay? But let's keep going, because it says GG has no economic clout. None. All they have done is hurt people. Who's been hurt? Who's been hurt? Hurt as in how? Physically? I haven't seen anybody being hurt. All right? Are we going to sit here and say harassment? Or are we going to say that people have been driven out of their houses? Because as we know, we've seen a lot of people troll and use the Gamergate hashtag, and they say, oh, that's part of them. How many times have Gamergate has done, a harassment watch? How many times have they done charity? How many times? Like, what do you want? Because apparently, doing these things isn't enough. So I want to know, if you're going to try and be the bigger person here and throw out stats that we still haven't seen, and then you're going to say hurt people, hurt as in how? People leaving their houses? Because I put it like this, a number of people have left their houses over random trolling, or random doxing, or whatever. And you also understand people that are in Gamergate has had that done to them as well. So if you're going to use that, then I suggest you look at both sides of the fence. But of course, you're not doing that. But this is Ubisoft for you, the creative director. Yeah, this is really nice, isn't it? This is what they think of you. Let's just throw a blanket statement out there of 1% and scoff at 9 million in sales. And that's, as they just said, just PC. That's not, console or mobile or whatever. That's a scoff at 9 million in sales. That's what they think of you. I've been telling you for years, they don't look at you as a person. They look at you as a unit sold. And they just proved that. Now I want to move on to Magfest. That's right, Magfest. Now a lot of people went to Magfest. I said I was not going. I was pretty disgusted at the fact that what Magfest did over their weekend, because Magfest, as we know, they decided they wanted to push a specific agenda. Because for those who don't know, they let Arthur Chu, that's right, bigot-ass Arthur Chu, that's right, if anyone has seen his tweets, you know how he feels about black people, you know how he feels, no, I'm not trying to hear this, alright? But he's going to do a panel, that's right, a panel on diversity there. It's ridiculous. And our community, I want you to take note of this, and what I'm getting ready to show you. And this is still Gamergate related, okay? This is how they act when it comes to their panels and taking shots at Gamergate.
Somebody in the line asked me to. Somebody in line gave this to me, and I do have to sign it for me. Sign it for them.
We're not doing signing.
They said no. Sorry.
Actually, it's about ethics in games journalism.
So as you can see, community, it's not about being the bigger person. It's not about being an adult. It's not about communicating with others. No, let's just take shots at people, because that's what we can do for laughs. And your community, that's right, our community. You're seeing them, oh, that's so funny. This is what I mean. The cycle of ignorance. This is what people need to say. You want to take your shots and everything? Like I said, at a panel where there's people around, everyone, come on, man. You know and I know that that's not called for. All right? And it's not about making a joke, because as soon as someone on the other side of the fence makes a joke, you say misogynist, pig, slanderous, and everything else. So don't give me that. I don't understand how it's okay for you, but not okay for someone else. You're pulling this elitist status again, and it's absolutely sickening. But our community keeps eating this up. And I don't understand why. When people are having panels like that, and instead of, Magfest saying, just coming out and saying, we don't appreciate hate in general. It doesn't matter on what side it's from. We don't appreciate it. We will not have you there. No, you still let them do that. That's right. And I'm not just talking about that video. I'm just talking about in panels in general with people that we know have been very outspoken, very belligerent when it comes to talking about us people of color. That's what they call us, right? Arthur Chu just came out not too long ago and tried to call you. He said, I'm not going to call you an Uncle Tom, but yeah, that's the guy you want to have at your Magfest. That's the guy you let have a panel there. Like I said, if this is about, being safe and not harassed and things of that nature, you need to take the right steps. I'm not trying to hear you're neutral, because as long as you let those people run amok at your conventions, that's not neutral. You have to take a stand, as far as I'm concerned. And that's not all. No, because for those who don't know, a Vivian James cosplayer was harassed at Magfest. That's right. So for all these people who are sitting here saying that, they're for women and not harassment and things of that nature, then you go harass a cosplayer. The same people who are, for the women and for not harassing people, go out and do it themselves. I'll put the link in the info bar of how the person was treated in general, just for cosplaying. That's right. Ridiculous. This is what our community has come to. So within all this time that we've been doing this, no one's learned a damn thing. It's pretty sad. Let's get to some news, okay? Just saying. Now, for those who don't know, 3 women have been stabbed by a teenager. That's right. And it's because of Tomb Raider. That's right. Now, here's the thing, all right? The article it's very in-depth. It tells about how the teenager, and it does go after other articles who said this is because they're calling it the Tomb Raider killer. And the article's like, no, it's clearly not the Tomb Raider killer. This teenager has a problem with women in general. He doesn't like the way he's being treated by women in the past, and he's upset that he's still a virgin at 17. So that's his basis for going out and stabbing women and leaving the Tomb Raider logo. So because the Tomb Raider logo is there, it's automatically Tomb Raider's fault. Not because the kid has issues. And not because the kid has said, these are the reasons why I did it. He even baited the cops and saying, you went and blamed somebody else, and some 30-year-old guy, I'm 17 and you still can't catch me. Catch me if you can. Baiting the cops. And yet this is still about Tomb Raider. You've got to be kidding me. This is what I mean. And listen, when you have these people who have their heads so far up their fucking ass when it comes to doing these panels and going after Gamergate and trying to have the battle of the sexes, things like this in our community is happening and nobody is speaking up and saying, hey, look, this is wrong. Oh, I forgot. When news outlets come out and do this type of stuff, we're so used to being, beat on that we just say, it's not a big deal. It is a big deal. But it seems like people don't understand. It's like they just don't care anymore. 3 women stabbed in real life. And you want to blame video games. We're still on this. Years later, they're still blaming video games. But that should be common, right? That should be the norm at this point, right? For every person that has these big backers, and I swear to God, we see this time and time again, because a lot of you have asked me over the week, did you see Alpha Omega Sin's video and Nia Sarkeesian and how she went after him? I saw it. And there's 2 things to that, okay? For those who do not know. All right, Ania Sarkeesian in her tweet said, YouTubers with 250K followers, which shows you it's about numbers. It's not about being a voice. It's not about taking a stand. It's about numbers. And then she posted, as we know, all white males. When we know that's far from the truth. If you don't fit the narrative, they won't talk to you. Now, I do want to move on and talk about more narrative. We've talked about EA for so many years. Have we not? And I always coined it EA and their bullshit. And I have, time and time again. Well, now EA has stepped in it again. And you know what? I'm getting real tired of being called a hater for it. Because I'm giving you facts. And I'm not saying this within our community. No, I'm saying this from the media. First off, let's get something straight. If you're still using the word hater that much, in 2015, you got to think haters started, what, 2010, 2009 in the hood? And it's spreading about 2011. If you're still using that, you need to stop. You're playing yourself, okay? Just stop that all over, all right? Get a new word. Oh, I forgot. Some of these people don't get out. They don't know about that. Like I said before last week, culture vultures. You got to wait till something gets hot and jump on it. That's what it is. Let's start with this EA thing, man. Seriously. EA and A bullshit. Let's get started, all right? For those who do not know, all right, EA to start plans of, EA free to start plans. The future of console gaming. So pretty much free to play and then milk you out the ass for microtransactions. We'll get on that in a minute, okay? Because for those who don't know, EA will charge gas. That's right, gas. And Need for Speed No Limits. So let me get this straight. You're going to name your title No Limits, then charge gamers for gas. And there's a number of in-game currency as well. All right? Other transactions and things of that nature, okay? I don't understand this. First off, why are you making the game that realistic? It's a game. Nobody wants to pay for gas, all right? It's bad enough you had to do it in certain games and it was tedious, all right? And when I mean that, I mean free world roaming games, sandbox games, like Mafia 2 and things of that nature. You had to actually buy gas. You know what I mean? Like, it was tedious then. It's annoying. EA, you're just trying to get people. That's all it is. And this is what I mean, Forbes. Let's talk about this right now. All right, because Forbes talks about this. It says, but unfortunately for all the EA haters out there, it's working about extra content and DLC. It says extra content meaning any form of transaction that is not purchased off a single standalone game, which we've been telling you time and time again, stay away from. Stay away from. But you just can't, can you, gamers? It says accounted for $921 million out of EA's total digital revenue of $2.2 billion. So for everyone that hates DLC, you're still buying it, aren't you? That's how I see it. Now, For people that says, Gamergate is only the 1%, no, it's not just Gamergate's the 1%. We've been talking about this way before Gamergate. So maybe it's outspoken people trying to stop EA. That's only the 1%. It could be, all right? Because you got to think, there's a lot of people who play these games that don't go online. They don't go on YouTube. They don't go on forums. You know what I mean? They just see the commercial and say, hey, I want to buy that. So there's a lot of people out in this world that still buy these things, which is my respectful nod to people who don't understand how you can come up with these statistics. Okay? Now, it says you can even consider the true number even higher, considering that the 497 million from mobile likely comes from a lot of microtransactions as well. We saw this not too long ago with EA games when they did that with their mobile games. And then over in the UK, they had to say that it wasn't a free-to-play game because they were getting people for so much money on their mobile games in microtransactions. It wasn't a free-to-play game the way they were getting you. Okay? It says that's a massive portion, especially when you consider that digital revenue is a growing centerpiece for EA in the industry at large. We're going to talk a lot about DLC today. All right. It says EA has gotten a whole lot of flack for its digital focus. It says even going as far as to earn itself the consumerist worst company in America for 2 years running. Obviously, that wasn't enough because you're still buying. Gamers are still buying the stuff. Wasn't enough. It says, but it appears to be out the other side of that. So while necessity of buying gas in video games may be sort of cognitive dissonance, it says expect a whole lot more similar purchases. Hear that? A whole lot more similar purchases. Maybe you'll have to pay for your Dragon Age followers an hourly wage. It says, let's hope not. So, let's get into more, alright? Because it just goes to show you this is what EA is doing. But speaking of more DLC, like I said, because as soon as it gets hot, other people jump on it. Borderlands. The pre-sequel DLC. Yeah. It's causing crashes and devs are hard at work to fix it. So you want to come out with DLC, but you just throw it out there a buggy, glitchy mess. Look, if you're going to charge people for stuff, and we said this even in your single player games or multiplayer, even stuff on hard disk, take your time and make it. How many times have we seen articles or examples of people? Even the one guy came out not too long ago, the CEO. We talked about this. How he admitted he sent out game-breaking glitches, buggy games because he had a schedule to keep. So keep throwing this stuff out at you, day one patch. Keep throwing this stuff out at you, glitches and game-breaking bugs. And we just saw with Assassin's Creed Unity. I don't think we need to even talk more about game-breaking bugs. Just glitchy messes of games. But they're hard at work to fix the DLC. The DLC. Yeah. Let's keep going, man. Seriously. Evolve. Director says that, the game's DLC, we talked about this last week as well. The game's DLC is not meant to, to leech money. Really. Tell me more. Tell me more, please. After the comments that we've seen in the previous week or so, with Evolve, was it from the company? I don't want to hear this. I really don't. Let's just keep moving on, okay? We won't make the same mistakes twice with the Destiny DLC, Bungie says. Yeah, right. After all the retooling you've had to do with Destiny, and people are still upset, there's even articles from Yahoo saying, we're done with Destiny. We're walking away from Destiny. You have a lot of problems with that game, Bungie. You really just if all you're worried about is DLC and moving forward, you can't do that. You really can't. Let's keep going, though. And good news with DLC. Good news. Witcher 3 developers talk free DLC and says, we owe them, meaning the gamers, we owe them. So CD Projekt, that was from their CEO, so please, by all means, go ahead. CD Projekt has been doing this for quite a while. We've seen this with their DRM, and not really riddled with DRM, but more of sending overpowered monsters that people that want to pirate their games, sending overpowered monsters to keep constantly killing them so they can't finish the games. We've seen all types of different strategies from CD Projekt to do stuff like this, and they're showing that they really care about the fan base. Now, we've heard not too long ago there's some glitches in Witcher 3 that could actually hurt your game. We don't know if that's confirmed or not yet. That's so far we're hearing that's rumor, but at least they're trying. They're saying they owe you. They owe you, the fans. They're saying this. It's a step in the right direction as far as I'm concerned. Okay? Now, let's keep going because we got to talk about this Dragon's Dogma thing. Dragon's Dogma, Capcom. I just said Capcom? That's what I should say at this point. Dragon's Dogma, for those who don't know, Dragon's Dogma Online is coming. And fans were like, yay! They said it's going to be free to play. And people were like, okay, but it's online. Okay, so it shouldn't be that bad, right? Yay? there's like, it's coming to the PS4, I believe, was it the PS3 and the PC. People are like, okay, that doesn't sound too big, you know. It's, you know, everyone's getting what, you know, it's spread across, you know, some platforms, you know, PS4, PS3. Of course, the Xbox One's not getting it, which is sad. But PS4, PS3, and PC. Okay, and they're like, oh yeah, by the way, it's only for Japan. Capcom, like that's it. You have to be kidding me. Look, Capcom, Capcom, you did this with Monster Hunter Frontier, and you know, everyone was like, yeah, Monster Hunter Frontier is coming. What do you mean it's pay to play? Monthly? I don't know about that. It's only for Japan! What? Like, Capcom, you have to understand. Your product, your games, they can't get bigger if you don't bring them over. You have to take a risk. Alright? If gamers, like I said, people like Dragon's Dogma. They did, over here in the West. Why you would not bring that over here to, you know, to appease to those people, especially since it's a free-to-play game, that makes no sense, Capcom. It may be bigger over in Japan. It's possible. That's your home base. Of course, you're going to always have numbers in your home base, in your home territory. But in order for it to get big so it can flourish, so you can make more money, you have to throw it out to the masses. This is common sense. Look at the numbers that Monster Hunter has done, and you still have not brought Monster Hunter Frontier to the States. Still haven't. You haven't even given them the option to say, okay, I don't know if this is worth paying for or not. You haven't even given them that option. But yet you're going to do this with Dragon's Dogma. All right, let's keep going. It can't possibly get worse, right? Right? Yeah, okay. Resident Evil Revelations 2. The co-op for Revelations 2 will be offline. Okay? Offline. No online. Offline. Alright? But the raid mode will be later online. Because they want you to play raid mode. Okay? Now, I will say this. First off, that's just the start of things to come. Please. Please. Okay? Alright? Resident Evil Revelations 2 to have checkpoint microtransactions. You've got to be kidding me. You've got to be kidding me, Capcom. Come on, man. It's not all. That's not all. No, it's not all. Capcom charging for continues in Resident Evil Revelations 2. I want to walk out this room. You can't be kidding. You got to be kidding me. You're charging for continues now. Is it become that desperate, Capcom? But let's calm down here for a minute. All right? The life crystals in the game can be obtained through gameplay and through real-world money. All right? So the life crystals in the game, if you die in the middle of a mission, because that's what it is, all right? That's how you can continue in your game, okay? But if you don't want to earn it through hard work and gameplay, which makes no sense to me, okay, you can buy it right now. And Capcom says that this is the current model that's going out. You know, a lot of people use this now. Really? When was this? Look, first off, people, if, as far as I'm concerned, I wouldn't even buy Resident Evil Revelations 2 until it hits disc anyway. Seriously. Like, why would you wait for, you know, episode by episode by episode, you know, episodic content, instead of waiting for the full disc? I don't know why you do that, all right? But knowing that you have these little hooks and you know, trying to get you, like, we've seen this too much. Capcom is pulling EA. That's what it is. You've got to be kidding me. And they're bringing this, of course, to the console market. People, if you have to have this game, if you think it's going to be good, which it does look good. I'm not going to sit here and lie. The game looks good. I would just wait for the disc version. But the fact that, you know, they gave you this option, I know a lot of people say, well, it's optional. And I'm thinking to myself, it shouldn't even be an option. You should be doing this, you know what I mean, through hard work. That's it's another version of hand-holding that we keep talking about here. You don't have to make your games to the point where there's like, oh, well, if I can't do this, I'll just buy it. I'll just buy this and I'll be fine. Instead of actually learning how to play and learning how to survive in your games. It makes no sense. We'll talk about that a little bit later, too. Okay? About learning how to survive. Because there's some news that's coming up I really want to talk about. It's still Capcom related somewhat, but because I'm going to bring up some nostalgia stuff. Alright? But those games at the time didn't have, you know, let's buy options to carry on. I will talk about that later. I just can't believe this. And also, in more news with Capcom, Ono says that he has a surprise for people coming up. This is what he said in his tweet. To be honest, I really don't care what Ono has to bring to the table. I mean, seriously, I put it like this. It's not about Street Fighter 5 or, you know, they're looking like Street Fighter 4. We've had that conversation already. I really don't. It's not even about Street Fighter at this point. It's about how he's acted. It's about his previous, you know, his underhanded tactics and what he's done to fan bases to get certain things out of them. I mean, we all remember what he did with the Darkstalker fan base. You know, everyone put your dollar bills up in the air so that Capcom can see that you won a game. It's been how many years now? And you still haven't got it. So as far as I'm concerned, when you do underhanded tactics like that, first off, it tells you how they treat their fan base. That's what it tells you. All right? And the fan base still hasn't, they haven't gotten what they've wanted. They used you. And now we should all be excited because he has something to reveal. No, I just don't care. I don't at this point. It's sad that you would even use your fan base that way. I'm just saying. That's how I feel, okay? But more fighting game news, all right? Dead or Alive creator calls its last installment disgusting. This is kind of hypocritical if you ask me, because for those who don't know, Itagaki, all right? He says that the studio, it blasted the move by the studio to make Dead or Alive more erotic. It says it in parentheses, more erotic, and refer to their attempts to milk loyal players out of their money with erotic DLC as disgusting. All right? Now, this is what he says. He added, everybody is a little perverted. Even I'm a little perverted. Well, yeah, we've seen that throughout the series and when you've done this, all right? Rockstar, we've seen that. We already came to that conclusion that you're perverted, okay? It says, but it was for that very reason I created DOA X, which is Dead or Alive Extreme, for those who don't know. It says, in order to target the people who wanted something a little bit more casual and sexy, but at the same time keeping that tone separate from the fighting game, it says, that is DOA. DOA is now a total mess. Now, I'll put it like this. This just sounds like salt to me. It does. It sounds like complete salt. You cannot sit here and tell me that you're going to get mad now after everything you create. Oh, it's more erotic. Oh, now I'm offended, even though I'm admitting that I'm a pervert. Are you serious? Let's just stop. Let's just stop this right now, okay? And let's just move on, because it screams hypocrite. It just does, okay? Now, for those who know more about Dead or Alive, Biggie Gaming to host Dead or Alive last round side tournament at EVO. It will be happening, okay? But it is a side tournament, okay? Also, no changes in game balances. Let's talk about more fighting games. Virtual Fighter Final Showdown version B. There are no changes in game balances. So I'll put that link in the info bar for you fighting fans who are Virtual Fighter fans. Also, I have to talk about this. There are accusations within the community that gamers are saying that people who are making Virtual Fighter are now ripping off the new characters from Tekken. So, you know what? Let's take a look and see if you think that there's a comparison, it's a rip-off, or it's just pure coincidence.
2P 側チャンピオンアイリーンよし勝負だ 1P 側チャレンジャーベネッサ 1P 側のプレイヤー負けると降格ベネッサ負けられない一戦となった講談医者同士の戦いとなった蹴り上げた陣内3点ここからどうするヘブンズゲート投げ抜けはない蹴り上げたエルボーダッシュダウン攻撃ベレッサ残り体力は勝負だ第3ラウンドが始まりました蹴り上げたここからどうするナイスさばきうまいヘブンズゲートマウントを取るスペースアウトナイトメアサイズレッグボール決まったファイナルラウンドスタート受け身を取った追い打ち投げ失敗蹴り上げたアイリーン残り体力わずかこれがヒットアイリーン残り体力わずか本則的いいぞ熱い一戦でしたねいやーいい試合だったアイリーン勝利しました
私の方が強かったみたいですね
I mean, I'll put it like this. I'm on the fence with it still, so I'll just let you guys and girls talk about it in the comment section. Like I said, I'll leave the links in the info bar so you can see these type of things as well. Also, we got to talk about more of this esports. Yeah, esports. Valve is permanently banning pro Counter-Strike players from match fixing. And you know what? You should do that. Valve, it's a good move on Valve, but you know what? I don't think that's still going to be enough for people to still think that they can get away with these type of things. I just don't think it's enough. Either you have to ban and you have to fine them as well on top of it or something. I mean, there has to be more consequences because you want to make a statement that this will never happen again. You want to make that statement. And it seems like even though we've seen people banned before, we've seen people, people still try it. They do, So there has to be, I feel, if you're going to match fix, there has to be a mountain, of backlash for it. A mountain. A ban isn't enough. It's not. It's just, I just don't think it is. All right? And I know a lot of people say, well, what do you think is enough? I know that's the question that's going to come. Like I said, ban them, fine them, make sure the name is out there, make sure they can't compete at any other tournament. Like, you have to think, the industry has a lot of connections. And like I said, just like on a local level, when we had our arcades here, if you messed up in one arcade, that arcade would tell another arcade, and they would spread the word around from other arcades. So if you really messed up in an arcade, you couldn't go to other arcades without, without people walking away from you. Someone wouldn't even let you in the door. I think they need to do the same thing with the companies. I'm not saying, oh, you want to blacklist people. Well, if you're match fixing, yeah. Because I put it like this, if you want this to be an honorable sport, esports, you want it to be taken seriously, you really have to go at it. You really do. You really have to make it known that, look, this, like I said, we will never have this happen again. Because it kills the integrity of what you're trying to do. Seriously, there needs to be some severe consequences as far as I'm concerned. But speaking of more esports, for those who don't know, Lady Gaga's talent agency is to buy an esports company. Whatever. We'll see what comes from it. Really, we'll see what comes from it. Also, in more news, Dota players. Dota has been banned in a district in the Philippines due to violent fans. Now, it's only this district, but still, if you're banning people for playing Dota because they're getting violent over Dota, see, this is what I mean. Our community. You can't get violent over playing video games. You can't. We just saw it last week. You can't do that. So now, everyone has to suffer for idiots getting violent. See what I mean? That's ridiculous. Also, for those who don't know, in more of these, and this is over in the Philippines, these are in, gaming sessions and in these shops or whatever, in these stores when you're playing for hours at a time. For those who don't know, a Taiwanese man dies after a 3-day gaming session. Now, we've seen this in the past. We've seen this in Korea, especially South Korea. We've seen this in a lot of places where, in other countries, where they go to these internet cafes and they play these games for hours and hours at a time, and nobody checks on these people. A 3-day gaming session, this guy died. He was in his 30s doing this. This guy's in his 30s, so he knows better, you know what I mean? But still, a 3-day gaming session. And no one came to check on him, and he died because of it. We've seen, in the past, of reports, people slumped over and dead in, at the cafe, and people just like, just keep on walking. Maybe you just sleep. Like, you got to check on people. There has to be more responsibility when you're doing these type of things. Maybe you need to put a cap on how long they can play. And I know a lot of people are saying, well, that's wrong. You can't tell players how long they can play for. When you are in a facility like that, you have the right to say that. You do. Like I said, arcades, they put a cap on how long you can play. Hours from 10 to 9, 10 to 10, 10 to 11, depending on the hours of summer. That's how it was. They put a cap on how long you can play there. It's the same thing with Internet Cafe. I understand that you want to make it 24 hours a day, but at least you have to check on the people that are there. A 3-day gaming session. That's sad. And the guy's in his 30s. That's sad. That's real sad. I do want to move on to more about gaming and sessions, I should say, or should I say lengthy periods of playing games. For those who don't know, in MMO news, The Elder Scrolls Online ditches mandatory subscription on the PS4, Xbox One, and the PC. And you know what? It took you this long to do it. We were already against it, to begin with, because we're like, you're not going to be able to go up against, like World of Warcraft, who's also talking about going free to play as well. You can't go up against these people and think that everyone's just going to, buy this subscription. And now they've learned that no one's going to buy the subscription, so we're just going to just pull it off, and that's going to be it. So that's fine. Hopefully you learn a lesson from this. I'm sure in the future. Well, hopefully they don't put enough microtransactions in it, but I really hope that, if they do keep this online, Elder Scrolls Online going, that you do see prominent, and I mean really good content, in their expansions. I really hope that they give you that, because you know what? That's what MMOs are about. It's not about nickel and diming you all the time. They give you a large chunk when it comes to expansions that are worth the $40, $50 that you would pay for to expand for your game, because you're spending so much time playing that game. You know what I mean? Because as we know, you're paying monthly. broken down the numbers before. I believe in 2010 I broke down the numbers of this. No, 2011 I believe. I broke down the numbers on MMOs and how much you're actually paying as opposed to how much you're playing. You want to make sure that you stay constantly playing. That's what they want you to do because you want to get your money's worth. We've talked about this in the past with charts and stuff. All right, whatever. Anyways, let's move on. In good news, all right? Plague Inc. gamers raised over $76,000 to fight Ebola. That's right. So to fight the Ebola virus, gamers band together and raised over $76,000. I would say thank you. Thank you. It doesn't matter what the cause is, but it just goes to show you that there's gamers out there with heart that will sit there and fight for, these. Say, hey, look, we can use gaming for this cause. We can use it for something positive. It doesn't always have to be about yourself and going on panels and trashing people. No, you're actually playing games. So while you have people on panels trashing others, you have people like this who are like, look, I don't have time for that. I'm sitting down, I'm knuckling down, and I'm going to, help by using my skills in the game. I love to see that. I do. It's amazing to see gamers. It's amazing to see how far it's come. And I hope that it keeps getting bigger. Because that's what needs to be more in the press. And the thing is, a lot of people didn't cover this. Once again, positive news really doesn't get, spread worldwide like this. It's sad. I guarantee that Tomb Raider dude, though, who stabbed those women, yep, that was spread all over the place, though. Yep. This is what I mean. So for every positive thing that we see, it's always 10 negatives to overshadow it. It's kind of sad. And, at one point, you start to get numb to it at one point. It's like, are we doing enough? Because you're not getting not just the recognition, but you're not getting the promotion that it deserves. And I think that's another problem. Our community really needs to be like, look, I don't want to hear about this trash that you're writing. You know what I mean? Like, oh, what was that article just not too long ago? Is it wrong to think that this person is holding a dick or something like that? It was some dumb shit on some article. And I'm thinking to myself, people will read that, but they're not taking the time out to read about the Extra Life program or people raising money for the Focus Attack food drive or you know what I mean, gamers fighting Ebola. We're not talking about that, though. I don't know, man. It's just, like I said, gaming could be so much more. It could be bigger. Like I said, it's not just about playing games and sitting down and have fun, because you're having fun in the process. But the fact that they're raising so much money and doing these things. Look, you've been playing games probably all your life. I know there's a lot of new generation guys that, and girls that have come along now, so it's a little bit different. But you've been doing these things all your life. There's no way that you don't know how to take your skills and use them to the best asset that would help everyone. I don't know. For me, it's just, I don't know. Like I said, it's not just always about you. It's not about always just going to tournaments and winning. It's not always about that. You know what I mean? Oh, I won this amount of money. Oh, I got a match fixed because I'm desperate. Like, it's not always about that, man. It's not. I don't know. It's sad. But in more news, for those who are looking to get a Wii U, you can get it with Super Mario 3D World right now for $260, which is a deal. Okay, there's also other deals in the info. Was it in the info bar in that link, I believe. So just to let you know. Also, I want to leave this on a high note, and I said I'd talk about this. I go back to it. Xbox's boss teases for a new Battletoads. That's right. So we will see what happens. A new Battletoads is coming. Battletoads is one of the hardest games I've ever played. All right, Battletoads and Super Ghost and Ghouls. And that's why I bring that back up when I said about Capcom. Because for anyone who plays Super Ghost and Ghouls, there was no, oh, you're dying, so if you want to continue, once you run out of continues, oh no, just pay this amount of money and you'll be fine. You can keep going. No, it wasn't like that. You know what? I should do a Super Ghost and Ghouls gameplay just to show you, and you know what, just how hard it is. And it's not just about playing it hard, but for those who think that Dark Souls in those games are hard, and they are hard, don't get me wrong, but if you think that's hard, try playing on its highest level. I play the Super Ghost and Ghouls because some people did mods for it. Some people just play the original Super Nintendo version. Super Ghost and Ghouls without armor and Arthur and his boxers with that regular. Like I said, don't change weapons. No. All right, just use the spear or whatever. The whatever. Yeah, I don't know. The jousting. The knighting joust. Use that. Just use that with no armor, and tell me you're going to run through this game like there's nothing to it. All right, and I'm saying this for people who don't remember. I'm not talking about speedrunners. No. We're not talking speedrunners. I'm talking about people who haven't played the game in a while. I say Battletoads is one of the toughest games I've played. And I know a lot of people also want to argue about Battletoads means Double Dragon as well. But you have to understand that those type of games are what brought us here. So when people start complaining about something is hard or it's impossible, and you go back and you look at the history, I understand, like I said, some of you new generation people haven't played it yet, so you don't know. I get it. But this is what we constantly complain about when it means, this game is hand-holding and things of that nature, because we had it a hell of a lot worse. And it tested us constantly. It was always in your face. It was like, look, you're not getting around this unless you get better. That's it. No way around it. And you had to get better. You had no choice. Now it's just, you can just buy things out. That really disgusts me. Yeah, if you don't have any more continues, just buy it. That really disgusts me. But this is where gaming is going. They want to make it easy for you. And I'm not just for you as in a community. I'm not talking about hardcore games, because as you know, as they just said with Dead or Alive, I want to make it more casualized. You know what I mean? Like, it goes to show you. They're just trying to reach out for numbers because they feel it's better for business. Where for us, we're like, hey, you're killing your sole fan base here. Your hardcore fan base. We see it time and time again. It's always been that argument between the two. Fan base, company. Business, love. It's always been that way. But like I said, when you see those type of things, and then like I said, it just really bothers me to see gamers stick their neck out for these charities and just not get enough. They just don't get enough credit where it's due. They don't. Like I said, speed runs are great to see. As long as you're not using a cheat. Because let's be honest here, if you're using cheats for speed runs, or a hack or something for speed runs, that's ridiculous. That's not an actual speed run. But and speaking of speed running, for those, go ahead, do a speed run on 3D. Road Runner? Please, by all means, speed run on that. 3D Road Runner, do that, please. You know what I mean? Like, it just goes to show you that there's so many great games of our past that you can go back and play and say, damn, this is hard. You know what I mean? Rolling Thunder at one point, it's like, damn, I remember playing that in arcade. It's like, this is hard. You know what I mean? Like, at one point, So it just goes to show you that with every time we get better with technology, and they give us more, more free roaming and more, dare I say, gadgets. I mean, seriously, you could play Resident Evil right now, Resident Evil 5, and be like, this is the shooting gallery, ha 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 ha, and just shoot up everyone, you know what I mean? And not have to worry about anything. I could just upgrade this rifle and just kill everyone in one shot, and and then you go back and play like Rolling Thunder. You're like, wait a minute, I'm shooting this guy, but he's not dead yet. I gotta duck, I gotta jump up on the balcony, I gotta do, like, you know what I mean? If they touch you, that's it, So it's, I don't know. Gaming has come a long way, but I just feel as though they've missed the heart of it at times. Because they sacrificed their heart for business. It's kind of sad. But once again, media, please, by all means, you should be posting the positive stuff. Instead, you're still worried about clickbaiting and things. This is why places like Joystiq is shutting down. This is why. Just letting you know that. Anyway, I'm done for today. I'll talk to y'all later. Y'all be safe. Like I said, all links will be in the info bar. Talk to y'all then. I'm out.